Meet Elon. Elon is a regular guy, and by regular guy, I mean he owns rockets, satellites, electric cars, an artificial intelligence company, and a social media platform where people argue with cartoon frogs about interest rates. Recently, Elon did something no human being had ever done before. He became worth $1 trillion. 1 trillion. A 1 followed by 12 zeros. That is not rich. That is, your accountant needs therapy money. That is, your net worth has its own weather system. But here is the weird part. Elon did not become a trillionaire because he found $1 trillion under a couch. He did not open his banking app and see 12 zeros next to a rocket emoji. He became a trillionaire because the market looked at SpaceX, Tesla, X, and XAI, and said, yeah, this guy might control the future. Then it priced that future today. That is modern finance. You do not need cash. You need equity. You do not need profit right now. You need a story big enough for investors to believe the profit will arrive later. For years, Tesla was Elon's money printer. Not because Tesla made the most cars. It does not. Not because Tesla made the most profit. It does not. But because investors did not value Tesla like a car company. Tesla was valued like a car company, an energy company, an AI company, a robotics company. Traditional car companies are valued on boring things: revenue, margins, units sold. Tesla was valued on vibes, growth, software, batteries, robo-taxis, and the idea that one day your car might make money for you while you sleep. Which sounds great. Except most cars currently make money disappear while sitting in a driveway. But Tesla did not make him a trillionaire by itself. Tesla built the mountain. SpaceX launched him off it. SpaceX is where the trillionaire story really begins, because SpaceX is not just rockets. SpaceX is rockets plus satellites, satellites plus internet, internet plus government contracts, government contracts plus global infrastructure, global infrastructure plus future space economy. And once investors hear the words future space economy, their spreadsheets start levitating. That is where Starlink comes in. Launching rockets is cool, but selling internet from space is recurring revenue, and recurring revenue is the financial market's favorite love language. A rocket launch is an event. A monthly internet bill is a subscription. And Wall Street loves subscription. But the funniest part is that Elon probably would not spend it normally anyway. A normal person gets rich and buys a beach house. Elon gets rich and says, what if we put humans on Mars? Normal people retire. Elon starts another company. That is why markets keep paying the premium. They are not just buying current companies. They are buying the chance that one of these future bets works. Tesla works. SpaceX works. Starlink works. XAI maybe works. Mars maybe works. And if enough of those things work, maybe $1 trillion is not the end of the story. Maybe it is just the first boss fight. But this is also where the risk lives. When valuations are built on the future has to show up. At some point, the story needs revenue. The revenue needs margins. The margins need cash flow. And the cash flow needs to justify the price. You can delay that. You can explain it. You can put it in an investor presentation with a clean font. But eventually, the math asks for proof. And math is rude. Math does not care about your brand. Math does not care that the rocket landed upright. That is the contradiction of Elon Musk becoming the first trillionaire. It is incredible. And it is unstable. If SpaceX keeps growing, Starlink becomes a global utility, Tesla wins autonomy, and XAI becomes another Musk-led empire, the number could go higher, which is a completely ridiculous sentence. But here we are. If expectations fall, the number can shrink very fast. That is why this moment matters. Not because Elon has $1 trillion in cash. He does not. It matters because it shows what modern finance has become. The richest person in history was not created by wages. He was created by equity in companies that convinced the market they might own the future. That is the new wealth machine. Own the asset. Tell the future story. Get the market to believe it. Watch the valuation multiply. So next time someone says Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion, remember this. He does not have $1 trillion sitting in a checking account. He has something more powerful and more dangerous. He owns the story the market desperately wants to believe. The first trillionaire was not made of cash. He was made of valuation.